Hey everyone, it's Jerry again, talking to you this time about a little thing called the Dream Journal. So, it's an important subject, in terms of dreaming, or really actually even self-exploration or understanding, really. It's a really awesome tool to use. So if there's anything you want to try to change about yourself, for the positive, recording your dreams is a great way to kind of get to know your own mind. And I'm going to kind of go over some of the common questions and common things you can do with dream journals. Some of the common questions like, what is a dream journal? Why do you need one? Why do I need one? We get that a lot. And how do you do it? How do you actually record stuff? And then how do you use it? Those are kind of like the big questions there. So I figured I'd kind of help with that. Well, the first thing is, what is a dream journal? Well, a dream journal is anything you want to use to record your dreams. So that can be something like this, which is just a sketch pad. You can get pretty much anywhere, especially art stores and stuff like that, very cheap. I don't like lines in mine, but that's just me. It's just straight up blank pages, so you can draw whatever on there. But regular kind of standard books work too. Notepads, anything like that. And then also another option is voice recording. So if you have a tape recorder or a little digital recorder, some MP3 players have them on there. Cool thing to use too, because sometimes it is actually easier just to say it than it is to write it, because it's kind of like nonsense. Sometimes, anyways, but it's fun. So that's kind of what a dream journal is. So anything you can use to record your dreams. So. Now, why do you need one? Okay, this is a really good question. I love this question because I remember asking myself that myself. I had a fairly decent dream recall, throughout my life, and I thought, I remembered most of my stuff, most of my dreams, and it's kind of like at one point it occurred to me that it doesn't matter what I say and what I remember, because I can say whatever the hell I want. I can say whatever the hell I want when I want. So I can say I had the dream about blah, 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 that happened when it happens and everyone sees it. It's like, oh yeah, dude, great call. Well, sure you knew that. So, on precognition, exactly, essentially, you know what I mean? So, the dream journal will give you evidence, because you can write down, like, oh yes, I saw this, and that. I saw that thing fly this way, and this plane in that way. And it's like, yeah, that's what happens. Oh wow, hey, I wrote that on this day. Yeah, it's the colors and everything, It becomes a very strong coincidence, So keep building those coincidences. It seems to be more non-threatening that way when you say it that way. Probably not with the quotes, but, not everyone is familiar with the whole idea of synchronicity. I totally recommend you look into that. It's not a scary thing, don't worry. And, so yeah. That's one thing. It turns like amusing anecdote into evidence. Okay? So any of you out there kind of you're looking for self-discovery through some sort of empowerment through dreams, which is, it's okay. If you want it. And you can prove it to yourself and as much as you need to, and the dream journal, excellent way to do it. Because then you write it, you're writing, you saw it. So if you're like, oh no, that didn't happen, it's you just denying yourself. So another reason why you need one, because, well, the more you write, the more you write down, the better your recall gets. Okay, so if those of you trying to increase your dream recall, dream journal. That's why I say it, number one, because it's going to increase your dream recall, because dreaming becomes part of your conscious life. So you become conscious of dreams. Doesn't that sound very closely, conceptually, and kind of functionally as conscious dreaming? So yeah, your subconscious communicates that way. So the more you make it conscious dreams, awake, you're more likely you're going to have these lucid dreams, and you're going to be more conscious of the dreams you had over the night. Whether you can control them or not, that's a different subject. But at least you'll be conscious of them, and that will help. The dream journal helps the dream recall. So that's another reason why would you need one. And then another thing too is to get understanding of what is going on in your head. Especially those of you who feel a little overwhelmed sometimes by the symbols or the amount of symbols in your dream. Either be they strong sequences of very, action movie-like stuff, or almost nonsensical jumbles of crap. Either way, like, that's all information that's coming to you from your subconscious, and you record it for the conscious mind to look over it and go, wow, that, I really seem to have a thing for garden gnomes or something, because they seem to pop up everywhere. Well, what do I think about garden gnomes? And why do I keep using that as an example in these videos? Don't ask me, I just do. But anyways, you see where I'm going. It's the association. You start seeing what the associations are, So why do you keep seeing this relative? Why do you keep seeing that old friend? Why do you keep seeing that ex who you don't really care about anymore, but don't hate them, but you keep seeing them. You don't want to get back together with them. Things like that. You start seeing what's going on in your head and why. You see the associations, because you see, like, oh, that ex always seems to come up, when in relation to some friends I used to have that kind of reminded me of the way this guy tended to act. It was kind of annoying sometimes, something like that. You never know, but it's like, when you write it down, you get a chance to kind of remove yourself from the perspective of immediately after the dream, which could be kind of disorientating, and have a chance to really ground yourself and look at it again at a different time, different place, and re-examine it. So those are all some reasons, as to why you would need it. So how do you do it? Okay, this is pretty important. Okay, this is where like how I made fun of not moving. It's like, yeah, okay, this is where that comes in handy, learning how to stay still, so you guys can feel vindicated out there for whoever's like, oh, it's wrong. Go ahead. And but yeah, for the time you have allotted for being able to stay in dream recall mode, as you can call it, try not to move. Try to use the least amount of function as you can to record this. If you know you can record it with your eyes closed and make sense of it, fine, do it. If you think you can just lay there and be like, and draw like this, or say like this, while you just remain in that moment, do it, fine. Whatever, it's about you, okay? It's what you remember. So this is to help trigger you. That's why do it as immediately as you can, and if you're having trouble recalling it at all, basically start making sense, or putting some of these things in logical order, because sometimes they're like all over the place. So start recalling any symbols, which means like any nouns or anything like that. So nouns, and what happened, actions, verbs, and what they look like, descriptions, adjectives. So grab those, start trying to wrap your mind around those, and then if you still can't pull out too much sense of it, start putting those in alphabetical order and writing them down. And then these could actually, you can use these later as triggers to kind of remember stuff later, or it might come to you right then. Either way, it's like sometimes it's hard to kind of hammer everything that happens down into some kind of like waking life context. It's just, there's so much, it's so rich that can happen at once, and over there, quote unquote. So that's one way, and then what I highly recommend is doing it in pen. Because for one, it kind of lends validity to what you write down when it's in pen as opposed to pencil. You can see erase marks, and stuff like that. You can see scribbles either way. But it's kind of like, it's just a good idea. So, and there's another good practical reason I'll tell you in a second. But have a pencil handy if you need one, especially for doing drawings and sketches, because I know sometimes it's hard to do sketches with a pen. So, and that's a whole different thing. So, and I highly recommend doing any sketches that you feel you can, even if it's like a stick figure. Stick figures to remember positionings or things like that. Any kind of markers will help. And speaking of markers, the reason why I suggest that is because what I like doing once I have a full journal, and is going back and reviewing it. And as I'm kind of illustrating, I'll give you an example. Here's this. You can see I have these broken down into days. So I don't know if you can see it that far from here, but every day has its entry. You can either do the day that went by or the day coming up. It's totally up to your preference.